Imagine finding someone online who seems perfect. They're charming, attentive, and say all the right things. You start to develop real feelings for this person. But what if I told you that person could be a scammer? Today, we're diving into a topic that affects thousands of people every year: romance scamming. We'll explore who gets targeted, who's behind these scams, the staggering amounts of money being stolen, and most importantly, how to protect yourself.
What is a romance scam? Romance scams are a type of online fraud where scammers create fake profiles on dating sites or social media platforms to gain the trust of their victims. They eventually manipulate their victims into sending them money or personal information. In 2023, more than 7,000 people in the USA alone fell victim to romance scams. Victims lost nearly $1.3 billion to romance scammers that year, making it one of the most lucrative scams out there. Now, who are these scammers? They either work alone or as part of organized crime groups, primarily based in West Africa, Eastern Europe, and Southeast Asia. These groups are often very professional in their approach, using a variety of tactics to deceive and manipulate their victims. Romance scammers prey on people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. However, they often target older individuals who may be lonely or vulnerable, as well as those who are recently divorced or widowed. So, how can you tell if you're being scammed? Here are some red flags that you must be aware of. Red flag 1: too good to be true. Your online date appears to be exceptionally attractive, successful, or wealthy, almost like they stepped out of a dream. Scammers do extensive research before contacting you, gathering information about your hobbies, interests, and lifestyle. They use this knowledge to craft a persona that seems perfectly tailored to you, making it appear as though you've found an ideal match. Some scammers even go to the extreme of pretending to be celebrities or high-profile individuals to enhance their appeal and gain your trust. If the person you are chatting with seems too good to be true, it's important to be cautious. Red flag 2: moving too quickly. Scammers often rush the relationship, quickly expressing strong feelings like, "You're my soulmate. I've never felt like this before," within days or weeks of starting the conversation. They also call you sweet nicknames, such as babe, my queen, my king. This tactic is used to create an emotional connection fast, making it harder for you to think clearly. Red flag 3: pressuring you to leave the dating platform. A common tactic used by scammers is to quickly pressure you to leave the dating platform where you initially connected and move to more private forms of communication, such as email, phone calls, or messaging apps. This is done to avoid the monitoring and security features that many dating sites have in place to detect and prevent scams. By moving the conversation off-platform, the scammer can more easily manipulate you without the risk of their account being flagged or reported. Red flag 4: you are approached on social media by people you don't know. Scammers often use platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to send friend requests or direct messages to potential targets. These messages might be flattering, or they may claim to have common interests or connections. However, if you receive unsolicited messages from strangers, it's important to be cautious. Red flag 5: avoiding video calls or in-person meetings. Scammers often claim to have jobs that require them to be overseas, such as being in the military, working on an oil rig, or being a doctor with an international organization. These jobs serve as convenient excuses for scammers to avoid face-to-face interactions. If someone you're talking to online is always too busy, has technical issues, or makes excuses to avoid meeting in person or on video, it's a sign they may not be who they claim to be. Red flag 6: asking for money. One of the biggest red flags in a romance scam is when the person you are talking to starts asking for money. This request often comes wrapped in a sob story or an urgent situation, like needing funds for medical bills, a sudden business crisis, or travel expenses to visit you. It could also involve opportunities to invest and make substantial profits. They might even claim to have millions in a bank account that's temporarily frozen due to various issues. Initially, they may ask for small amounts, gradually increasing their demands over time. No matter how convincing their story sounds, it's crucial to remember that asking for money is a major warning sign of a scam. Red flag 7. Requests for unusual payment methods. Scammers often ask for funds via gift cards, wire transfers, cryptocurrency, or other untraceable options. They avoid traditional banking methods because these are easier to track and reverse. By using less common payment methods, scammers can quickly disappear with your money, leaving you with little recourse to recover it. Red flag 8. Inconsistent or vague personal information. Scammers often struggle to keep their stories straight because they are juggling multiple victims at once. Pay close attention to inconsistencies in their personal information, such as changes in their background story, details that don't add up, or vague responses to questions about their life. For instance, if their job, family, or location details keep changing or seem too generic, it's a sign that something might be wrong. Scammers often provide minimal details about themselves to avoid being caught in a lie. Red flag 9. Request for personal information. Another critical red flag to be aware of in romance scams is when the person starts asking for personal information too soon. This can include your home address, bank details, or even sensitive information like your social security number. Scammers often ask for this information under the guise of sending you a gift or making travel arrangements. They may say things like, "I want to send you something special. What's your address?" Or, "I need your bank details to transfer some money for buying a house." Sharing personal information with someone you've only met online can lead to identity theft or financial fraud. Red flag 10. Poor grammar and language skills. While not always the case, many scammers operate from countries where English, or your native language, is not the first language. As a result, their messages may contain poor grammar, spelling mistakes, or odd phrasing that seems out of place. These inconsistencies can be subtle, but they often stand out when you read the messages carefully. Red flag 11. Pressure to make decisions quickly. Scammers often create a false sense of urgency, pushing you to make swift decisions or commitments, particularly when it comes to financial matters. They might say things like, "I need your help right away," or "This opportunity won't last long. You need to invest now." This tactic is designed to rush you into sending money or sharing sensitive information without giving you the time to think things through. Red flag 12. Love bombing. Love bombing is when you are overwhelmed with affection and attention right from the start. They might shower you with compliments like, "I've never met anyone like you," or "You're the only person I can trust." They'll text constantly, asking about your day, if you've eaten, and how you slept. While this may seem caring, it's actually a tactic to create a strong emotional bond, making you more vulnerable to their manipulation later on. Red flag 13. Reluctance to share personal photos. Scammers often rely on fake or stolen images and may avoid sending more pictures to reduce the risk of being exposed. Their reluctance to share could indicate they're not who they claim to be. Red flag 14. Overly dramatic or tragic stories. Scammers often use overly dramatic or tragic stories to elicit sympathy from their targets. They may claim to be a widow or widower, have a sick family member, or be facing some other personal hardship. These stories are designed to tug at your heartstrings and make you more inclined to help them financially. While everyone goes through tough times, a person who constantly shares tragic stories, especially early in the relationship, might be trying to manipulate you. Always approach such stories with caution, especially if they are coupled with requests for money. Red flag 15. Pictures and documents seem photoshopped. Be cautious if the pictures or documents someone provides appear to be photoshopped or altered. Scammers often use edited images or forged documents, like driver's licenses, to create a false identity. They might also use photoshopped photos to support their fabricated emergency stories, such as images of themselves in a hospital or jail. If their photos look a bit off, inconsistent with other images, or if documents seem altered, it's a major red flag.
Romance scams can cause serious emotional and financial harm. By recognizing the red flags mentioned above, you can better protect yourself and avoid falling for these tricks. Take your time getting to know someone online, and don't rush into a relationship or share personal information too soon. Trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's better to be careful. If you think you're dealing with a scammer, report their profile to the dating site or platform and stop all communication right away. Staying informed and alert is the best way to protect yourself from romance scams. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with others who might benefit.